Welcome back everyone. Have I ever been in any of your dreams? I know that's a weird question to ask, but today's video is about dreams and nightmares, so yeah, just thought I'd ask. I mean, statistically, one of you has dreamt about me, I guess. I'd love to hear it, but that's not quite why we're here today. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the scary things that you dream, and we're going to figure out what they really mean. You won't want to miss out on these big lessons. They could change your whole life. My name is Danny Burke, and this is the top 10 scary nightmare meanings you should not ignore. Also, while I've got you here at the start of the video, don't forget to go and check out this video over here, our top 10 scary warnings from the future. Some of you guys have requested more of our kind of futuristic prediction-y type videos, if that's a thing. This is one of them. It's also one of my favorites. Go and check it out right after this video. Starting off at number 10 now, we have death. I think it's universally agreed that death isn't really a nice thing to have in your dreams, is it? Except maybe if it's the death of a sworn enemy, and even then, you might want to talk to someone about that. When it comes to death dreams though, there are many different types, and psychologists treat them all differently. New parents might often have nightmares of the death of their children, a sign of their anxiety or being a new parent. The death of a partner might be someone unconsciously admitting to themselves that they are lacking in a certain quality that their partner possesses. Of course, the one I imagine you all want to hear is the death of yourself. Now that's a scary one. A lot of people say that this dream means you're going to die in real life, but I've heard other opinions. Some say that this could mean you feel like you are always making sacrifices and no one notices, or that it's time to put yourself first. In this way you can consider it a wake-up call, even though it is quite an unpleasant dream to have. Moving on to number 9 now, we have being naked. Now be honest, for a lot of people, being exposed in front of strangers is a pretty scary thought, and sometimes it bleeds into people's dreams. They find themselves suddenly naked in front of one or many other people, and at best it's incredibly embarrassing, and at worst it's terrifying. Some say that nudity symbolizes being caught off guard. Being naked in a public place may suggest that you are unprepared for an upcoming task in your life. This makes sense if you think about it, because clothes are a literal barrier between us and the outside world. In our dreams, the loss of clothing represents our protection from the outside world being stripped away. We feel mentally exposed, and so our mind presents that as being physically exposed as well. Wow, I think I kind of broke that one down entirely by myself. Maybe I'm in the wrong job. Moving on to number 8 now, we have falling. Yeah, falling. I hate this one. You're fast asleep, you're having a nice dream, maybe, and suddenly your brain just decides to throw you off a building or a cliff. I don't know about you guys, but normally by this point I wake up, I just jolt out of bed. If you keep sleeping though through this, firstly, good job, but secondly, what does it all mean? Well, according to experts, it may be your subconscious's way of telling you that things are getting out of control in your life. This could be related to fear of not achieving success, or just simply fear of failure. Specifically, a fear that your riskier choice in life may result in your downfall. If you keep falling in your dreams every single night, this is probably your subconscious telling you to address your fear of failure and the associated anxiety. Next up at number 7 now, we have being chased. Have you guys ever had one of those nightmares? You're running from something, I don't know, a person, a monster, a family member that's become possessed, whatever, and they won't stop chasing you. You know if you stop for even a second, they're gonna find you. Eventually, you manage to calm down, find a hiding place, or you think you've lost them, and they're suddenly behind you again. It's not very fun, but what does it mean on a deeper level? Well, some say that being chased could be a sign that you're being overstretched at work or school, or perhaps feeling pressure in your relationships. It could also mean that you are having trouble dealing with reality or being in denial about something. Now don't worry, you can deal with it though. It can't be any scarier than being chased by a monster or a possessed auntie. Ugh. Moving on to number 6 now, we have teeth. Have you ever had a scary teeth-related nightmare? The most common one by far is, of course, teeth falling out. There are many different theories about this one. For Sigmund Freud, teeth falling out was a sign of sexual repression. Of course, classic Freud there. Other psychologists take a different approach and say that teeth falling out could be a sign of insecurity, especially about personal loss. It does make sense really, your teeth are such a solid part of you. They're also what we see when people smile. Losing teeth in a dream is like you're losing some other solid part of you and you're scared of being exposed. It could also mean you're going through life changes, growing pains, or you're worrying about getting older. Yeah, turns out the teeth falling out could mean a whole bunch of different things really. Moving on to number 5 now, we have fire. Now personally, I don't think I've ever had a dream with fire in it. At least one that I can remember right now. I don't know why, but other people have reported nightmares where everything around them is burning in a hellish inferno. What does that mean? Well, one interpretation is that fire is a symbol of strong feelings or passion. If you dream of your childhood home being on fire, then that could be a symbol of emotional chaos you may be currently experiencing because of childhood events. There is some good news though. Some people say that fire in dreams is actually a cleansing process. It might seem scary when you're in the dream, but the fire may represent getting rid of the old and entering a new phase in your life, and that does sound quite nice.
I like it, I do. I'm just really concerned about dying in the fire.
It's a big decision how one prefers to die.
Next up, number 4 now, we have killing someone. Now this isn't a very common dream, I hope, but a lot of people do have dreams where they physically hurt someone. They may not be a violent person in real life, and they may not even have a problem with the victim in real life, but for some reason they find themselves being violent or even killing someone in their own dream. Now if you have had this happen to you, then you'll be pleased to know this does not make you a killer in the making. It's much more likely that you feel like something in your life is ending or should go. Perhaps there's a dramatic change happening in your life. Maybe you feel hostility towards another person, or you could even feel guilt about it, or maybe you really do want to kill someone. So I don't know what to say. If that's the case, you should probably go and see someone. Next up, number 3 now, we have school drama. For those of you still at school, you may not understand this, but for everyone else, this is one of the scarier dreams out there. I've not been in school for quite a while now, but still, every once in a while, I have a horrible nightmare where I'm just back at school, and it's just completely normal. Usually this involves me realizing I have an important exam in a few hours and I'm late for it, or I haven't done any of the work. Actually, I do have a few memories just like that. The point is, adults report having dreams like this for decades after they leave school. Now why is this? Well, some say it's linked to your job situation. Our brains form deep links with school from a young age. It can become the basis for all work-related anxiety later in life. So if you're out of school and you keep having nightmares about scary teachers or exams, maybe have a think about your job and career choices. Career. Moving on to number 2 now, we have need the toilet. Okay, so as nightmares go, this may not be the worst. There's not, terrifying monsters in it or death, but it's still a terrifying feeling. If your dreams regularly involve you running for the toilet that you just can't find, then there may be something to it. Some psychologists see the toilet as a symbol of release for a person. If you're dreaming about needing the toilet, but you're never able to find one, it could be that you're looking for this release in your real life. There's something in your day-to-day life that needs to be dealt with, but you can't find the right outlet for it, just like needing the toilet when you can't get to one. The good news is that if this is the case, dealing with this blockage in your real life can bring an end to the toilet nightmares for good. And finally, number 1 now, we have being trapped. Nightmares where a person feels trapped or unable to escape are quite common. They can also come in the form of being buried alive or being unable to scream. A lot of people think these dreams indicate feeling trapped in real life, whether it be work or in a relationship or something else altogether. The person may feel like they have no choices in that area anymore, and this is manifested in the dream as having nowhere to physically go. It may be terrifying to have a dream about being trapped, but ultimately this one may be one of the most useful indicators to have when it comes to fixing an actual problem in your real life. Alright, there we go guys. Did that help anyone at all? Did anyone kind of freak out a bit because they related to it? I want everyone to come back tomorrow and let me know if they had a dream or nightmare tonight. Perhaps we can figure out what it all means together. Let's have a quick look at a comment. This one is from Casey Caffrey, who says, I think you guys should bury your own time capsules from Most Amazing Top 10 channels and your sister channels, something from every member of staff with a letter to who put what in there and what your channel is about. Hashtag Most Amazing Time Capsule. What a great idea, honestly. For those of you who don't quite get this, I recently did a whole bunch of time capsule videos on the channel, so that's why Casey is suggesting this, and yeah, I think it's a great idea. We could put loads of comments from you guys in the capsule too, and we'll bury it for people to open in like 100 years from now. Shall we actually do that? I'm being deadly serious. I'm kind of excited as well. Let me know. Thanks for watching. As always, guys, my name is Danny Burke, and I will see you all in the next one. The other week, I did a video talking about common nightmares, what they mean, and why you should never ignore them. Well, a lot of you guys did not ignore them. You guys shared some of your worst nightmares, and you wanted more answers from me. Now, I'm not a dream expert, I will admit, but I went away and found some more answers to your questions, so let's find out what your nightmares really mean, shall we? My name is Danny Burke, and this is the top 10 scary dream meanings you should not ignore, part 2. Starting off at number 10, we have bleeding. Have you guys ever had a dream about bleeding? It could be any kind of bleeding, if I'm honest, a little bit or quite a lot. Maybe you can't seem to stop yourself bleeding in your dream. Well, some people have theories on why you're dreaming this. Blood is our vital life force. Without it, we would just die. It's that simple. The importance of blood means that it symbolizes our very sense of self. If we're bleeding in our dreams, we feel like we're losing a huge part of ourselves. There are more specific theories than that though. A gush of blood may suggest you're experiencing self-sacrifice in your life. Dreaming about stepping on someone else's blood is said to mean that you feel like you're stepping on someone else to help your own success. There's an even more bizarre theory that drinking blood in a dream is a sign that you will one day get rich. I'm not too sure about that one. What do you guys think? Next up at number 9 now, we have drowning. This is a pretty horrible nightmare to have. There's a number of variations of this dream. You could find yourself drowning in an ocean, in a small lake, a pond, maybe even a puddle. It doesn't really matter. The drowning could be by accident, or someone could be drowning you. Many people will tell you that this kind of dream happens when you are under a lot of pressure in your life. It could be physical, mental, or emotional. It could also be a symbol of your problems drowning you. Perhaps schoolwork or debt is piling up so much that you don't feel like you can breathe. However, another popular explanation is that the drowning is self-inflicted because you want to drown something out. You want to remove yourself from a part of your life and let go. Just let the world wash over you and consume you. Wow. Alright, moving on to number 8 now, we have dying relatives. It's never a nice one. You wake up in a cold sweat because you just had a dream that a loved one died. Most people take this to be a bad omen. They might warn their relative to be careful because of the dream, but that might not be what's really going on in your head. The reason could be guilt or regret for not spending enough time with a loved one. This is especially true if the relative is already dead. Of course, some people reject all of this and take a more spiritual meaning from it. They believe that the relative is trying to contact them from beyond the grave. A lot of people have opinions about this. What are your thoughts on it? Next up at number 7 now, we have the dark figure. Now this is quite a vague one, but it means it's quite relatable. I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced this. Have you ever had a dream about a creepy dark figure that always seems to be on the edge of your dream watching you? You can never quite see the figure. Their face may be hidden somehow, as if they're cloaked in shadow. When you try and approach them, they might disappear or get lost in a crowd. It can be a pretty disturbing dream to have. The good news is, it could mean that there is someone in your life that you want to connect with, but you can't quite find out how. Some say that confronting the dark figure could be important, a sign that you should confront your fears in real life and your shadow side and change your mindset, attitude, and whole approach to life. Next up at number 6 now, we have the storm. Now unless you're a dog, storms aren't normally that scary in real life. Saying that though, I am from England and I live in Canada. I've not really experienced like really bad storms, like tropical storms. In our dreams though, storms can be as big and as scary as your imagination can make them. Some people take storm dreams very literally and think it might have something to do with a stormy relationship with someone. Others say that a violent thunderstorm could indicate physical violence in your real life. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Surviving a storm in your dream could mean your brain is weathering a storm in real life. In reality, thunderstorms clear the air and there's a noticeable calm when they pass by. The same could apply to you if you dream of a storm. It could be a sign that even though things are tough and scary right now, peace and calm is just around the corner. Moving on to number 5 now, we have snakes. A lot of people are scared of snakes. I'm not one of them, thankfully, but I do get it, honestly. They're slithery, kind of shifty, and some of them want to kill us. Not all of them. I know there's a lot of nice and friendly snakes out there, but some of them do. You might have a whole other issue though if those snakes are slithering into your dreams. Sigmund Freud said that a snake is a phallic symbol. Of course he did. Carl Jung considered it to be a sign of transformation. The snake shedding its skin is like you shedding an old way of life and emerging into a new one. If the snake bites you, it could mean you are dealing with a hurtful remark from someone or even physical abuse, and you don't know how to process it. If you're finding yourself running from a snake in a dream, it could be a sign that you are unwilling to acknowledge a problem that you feel creeping up on you. Or, of course, it might just mean you're afraid of snakes. Moving on to number 4 now, we have the apocalypse. As dreams go, this has got to be one of the big ones. You're not just dreaming about yourself being hurt or your family or friends. This is a dream about the end of everything, the whole world. So what is going on with that then? Does it mean you feel like you have to save the planet? Well, maybe. I mean, good for you if that's true. But for other people, it probably means you feel like a significant emotional and dramatic change is about to take place in your life. It's not the actual world coming to an end, but it may be your own world coming to an end soon. If it's a zombie apocalypse, you may feel like everyone around you has lost their humanity. A fiery apocalypse could be the destruction of your world as you know it. A tsunami apocalypse might signify a deep sorrow as your world is lost beneath the wave. Still, like I have said before in these videos, that doesn't mean it's all bad. If you can survive the apocalypse, you can survive anything. Next up at number 3 now, we have being shot. Another nasty kind of nightmare here. People who get shot in dreams sometimes report that it felt so real. Maybe not the physical pain as such, but definitely the despair and the panic. That feels very real. Some say that being shot in a dream is connected to how we feel in life. In ancient times, people used to say that being shot with an arrow was a sign of problems in your love life. Could it be related to a shot through the heart? A piercing bullet is like the feeling of having your heart broken by someone. Does that sound relatable to any of you guys? Another explanation is that it means you are trying to get rid of a part of your personality. There is something in your life that you want to remove, you feel like it makes you weak, and that bullet is a sign of your vulnerability. It also depends where you get shot. A headshot could be trouble of the mind, a heart could be your love life, your leg could be a feeling of being trapped and not being able to escape your current situation. Moving on to number 2 now, we have being cheated on. Those of you who have ever been in a relationship will know that this dream can be as scary as any of the other ones we've talked about so far. On the surface, it seems obvious. You're worried about your partner cheating on you, but that might not be everything that's going on here. Some people may dream this, they feel like they're not getting enough attention from their partner. It could also be because they're scared of being abandoned. Perhaps they have some really serious underlying issues from childhood regarding that. It could also be something as simple as low self-esteem. Perhaps your partner loves you and would never do that to you, but you don't love yourself and so you worry about it. Wow, I really got deep on that one. I need to take a minute. And finally at number 1 now, we have the silent scream. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this one. You're in the middle of a dream, you try and let out a scream and you can't. It doesn't matter how hard you try, nothing comes out. When we sleep, our body paralyzes us as a way to protect us from acting out our dreams and injuring ourselves. If you're caught between being awake and a deep sleep, you may find yourself trying to scream, but your vocal cords just won't do anything. It can be really scary. It becomes an internal scream, and it may mean something is being held back within your brain, as if there is an internal conflict that you just can't bring to the surface. As with many of the other dreams and nightmares we've talked about, not being able to scream could signify a feeling of helplessness, of being trapped, or just being too scared to speak out. Well, I think my school psychology teacher would be proud of me doing this video. If you're out there, Mrs. Sizzling, hi, I'm on TV. I mean it's YouTube, really, doesn't matter. You're probably not watching, are you? But you guys are. And thank you for doing that. Did you enjoy that? If you guys want more dreams and nightmare type videos, I can think of a lot more we can cover. Give me your suggestions. Also, tell me what's the scariest dream or nightmare you've ever had. Perhaps that will give me some inspiration. Until next time then, thanks as always for watching guys. My name is Danny Burke and I will see you all in the next one. Welcome back everyone. This is turning into a bit of a series, isn't it? I take common dreams and nightmares and try and explain them for you guys. Now like I've said before, I'm no expert. All the explanations I found have come from other people online. I'll be honest with you, some of them make a lot of sense. Others, not so much, but I think that's part of the fun about all of this, decoding the mysterious world of dreams and nightmares. You can check out one of the previous videos that I've done somewhere up there. Make sure you do it after this video though, because my name is Danny Burke and this is the top 10 scary dream meanings you should not ignore part 3. Starting off at number 10 now, we have freeze frozen. Sometimes you may have a nightmare where you are quite literally frozen solid from the cold, or at least very close to it. What does this mean? Well, some people try and explain this from an emotional angle. It's a sign that your emotions are frozen. Perhaps you're blocking out a part of your memory or your feelings. Maybe you miss or need affection or warmth. That need for warmth is symbolized by the complete lack of it physically in your frozen nightmare. If this sounds like a pretty big thing to worry about yourself, well, fear not. Some people say this could mean that someone else near you is exhibiting all of these traits. It could also mean and this is just my theory, that you left your bedroom window open. Get up and close it. That's why you're dreaming of being frozen. Yeah, mine's not quite as deep, I'll admit. Moving on to number 9 now, we have vampires. Now on the surface, vampires are bad news in a dream. They bite you, they drink your blood, you either die or turn into a vampire yourself. It's that simple, but some people believe there's a lot more to it than that. If the vampire is chasing you in the nightmare but not able to catch you, it could mean you are scared of someone in real life, but the fear is unfounded because that person won't really harm you. Generally speaking, seeing a vampire in your dream could mean that there is a significant person who is the source of all your troubles at the moment. If they're drinking your blood, that could be a warning sign that you should be wary of competitors who will leech off you like a vampire. Sometimes people dream that they themselves are actually the vampire. Picturing yourself as a vampire, well, that's said to mean that you're looking to start a serious relationship. Apparently. I don't know about that one. Seems like a little bit of a stretch. Next up at number 8 now, we have spiders. Now we talked about snakes in the last video, and this one is quite similar in some ways. On the surface level, having a nightmare about spiders could mean that you're just scared of spiders in real life, but it could mean something else. Many people think that spider nightmares could be to do with their webs. Spider webs are intended to ensnare and capture their prey. It's a form of manipulation. Some people believe then that spider nightmares could mean that the dreamer is being manipulated, or that the dreamer is perhaps the manipulator. Then of course there are poisonous spiders. Dreaming about a poisonous spider has been said to mean that there is a problem with drugs, alcohol, or some other substance in real life. This is based on the notion of these things being a poison to your body, like the poison of a spider. I'm not sure about this one again. There's a thing called moderation, and also all substances can't be divided into just good or bad. I don't know. What do you guys think though? Next up at number 7 now, we have car out of control. For those of you that don't drive, this one may be less common, but a lot of people have nightmares where they're driving along and suddenly they lose control of their car. Perhaps they're swerving all over the road, or they can't slow down. Some people say this means that you've been knocked off course in your own life. When you're driving a car, you're in control of it in a very literal way. If that car symbolizes your life, then by extension you feel like your life is out of control. Perhaps you feel like someone is controlling it, or maybe your plans have just fallen apart. The message to take away from all of this is to figure out what your new plan in life is, and you should find you gain control of your dream car as well. Maybe. Coming in at number 6 now, we have being late. I think this is a very, very common nightmare. You're on your way to somewhere, could be school, work, a party, the movies, whatever, and you're late. The dream may have actually started with you already being late. It was totally out of your control, and now you're frantically trying to get there on time. What does it all mean? Well, some say that it means you are taking on too much in your life and are frustrated as a result. This is your brain trying to tell you that you're stretching yourself too thin, you're not going to be able to fulfill all your commitments, just like being late in a dream. On the other hand, it could also be a sign that you're not doing enough. You're procrastinating when it comes to things that need to be done, and feeling like you have no control appears as being late in your dreams. Moving on to number 5 now, we have machines breaking. This is a rarer kind of dream, but probably one that will become more common as our dependency on machines continues to grow in this century. The machine nightmare could involve any type of machine. A phone, an oven, a car, even an ice cream machine. Whatever it is, you just can't seem to get it to work in your dream, and it's causing you a lot of stress, perhaps even more than it would if it happened to you in real life. Well, some say this could refer to health issues. The machine is supposed to be symbolic of our body and how we just can't get it to work as intended. Others say it may show we are anxious about a relationship or friendship. It may be the symbolism of you trying to fix a relationship and struggling to do so. You may feel like the relationship is slipping away because of your inability to do this. It doesn't mean you're right about that. You're probably just worrying too much, and the relationship is probably fixable, especially more than a broken ice cream machine. Next up, number 4 now, we have illness. A lot of bad dreams involve something bad happening in a very quick and dramatic way. An illness dream is not usually this. If your dream involves illness being around you, it could be your brain being aware of possible dangers around you in your day-to-day life, although those dangers may be silent and unseen, like an illness. This could be anything. A person trying to harm you, problems at work, anything. Because of this, some people recommend that a dream about illness means that you should not make any major decisions in your life until this perceived sickness around you has passed. Moving on to number 3 now, we have being lost. Have you ever had a dream like this? You're somewhere familiar, perhaps your house, your street, or your school, and somehow you end up lost. Perhaps you're with someone, perhaps you're alone, but no matter how hard you try, you can't find your way back to familiarity. Some experts say that dreaming about being lost is a clear sign of anxiety in real life. The feelings of confusion and frustration, feeling like you just don't belong there, are a key aspect of being lost and also of anxiety. It could be that a situation in your life is making you anxious and is not going how you intended. It could be a new job where you feel inadequate, a new home that seems unfamiliar, or new friends where you just don't feel like you fit in. Next up at number 2 now, we have paralysis. This really is one of the most common nightmares, and it really does sound terrifying. Sleep paralysis is a state between being awake and being asleep. Your brain is awake and conscious, but your body is still in REM sleep. People report a deep sense of dread accompanying sleep paralysis, perhaps even a dark figure in the room with them. It can be truly terrifying. In scientific terms, this is known as hypnagogic hallucination. The visions people see in this state are not real, but they certainly feel like it. As for the cause of all of this, well, the jury is still out on this one. As of yet, there is no exact cause as to why some people get sleep paralysis. It just seems to happen to about 40% of the population. Are you one of them? I'm not, thankfully. Despite this lack of understanding on the topic, there are certain things to avoid in order to not trigger sleep paralysis: lack of sleep, excessive alcohol consumption, a change in sleep pattern, or indeed any drastic change in lifestyle at all. And finally, number 1 now, we have the school test. It doesn't matter how long it's been since you left school, you're probably always going to have nightmares about school exams. I still have them. Maybe you can't answer a single question on the test. Maybe you can't even read any of the words. Maybe you don't even have a pen. All terrifying prospects. When I have these kind of dreams, it's strange because as I'm doing the exam, I'm me, right now, at the age I am now. And I never stop and think, wait, I'm not at school anymore. This is a dream. I just seem to forget it. I'm sure many of you can relate to this, but what does it all mean? Some say it implies that you're being put to the test in some area of your life. Perhaps your work is demanding more from you, or your family, or your relationship. You're being asked to step up, and people will be judging the results. The way your brain translates this into the dream world is the most common form of test in everyone's early life, the school exam. Alright guys, that is the end of the video. Make sure to check out part 1 and 2 as well. Keep your dreams coming. I read so many cool comments about people's dreams and nightmares, and we discussed what they meant. So keep them coming, and I will try and read every single one. Also, I want to hear suggestions on what other sort of dream nightmare videos we could do. It seems like it's something that interests you guys. While you think about all of that, I will say thanks for watching as always. My name is Danny Burke, and I will see you all in the next one.